prepped to potentially pick the Kazakhs right here, and I'm actually super surprised they banned Camille, since they would either be able to get a first pick LeBlanc, Rengar, or it doesn't make sense. There's the big 3 bans on the red side, and they get a first pick Kazakhs for free. Now they don't have to.
We talked about this, Jad. We talked about this, how both these teams have appeared to struggle in the picking and banning phase of playing a game of League of Legends. And right now, banning away what should be almost a required ban for your opponents, it doesn't add up.
Now they get let Immortals ban Kazakhs. I don't know what they accomplished by doing that, unless they really just wanted to be able to first pick a different champion. But Zyra, Malzahar both still up. They first pick Malzahar. Zyra's a great pick into Malzahar, and they can pick that as late as pick number 3 now before EnVy gets another ban. So I am personally confused by EnVy, but we have to see how it plays.
I am joining you in that confusion, but maybe they've got some super secret strategy planned that we have no idea what it is. Flame's going to be locking in the Syndra for these guys, so Immortals going to be packing some burst this time around.
Yeah, that's a strong early pick for Pobelter in the mid lane, especially with the Ryze banned out, which is one of the picks against it. I would think that EnVy probably throws Ninja onto Echo to match in that mid lane, and they'd have to do it within these next 2 picks. Otherwise, that'll be a ban for Immortals.
Immortals going to go ahead and lock in Morgana for Olay again. He had some good bindings in the last game. Obviously very familiar on the champion like we talked about. After that last pickup, he's played it 5 times now. Easily his most played champion so far this split. As Lyra goes ahead and grabs that Jhin for Apollo. And EnVy also decides to pick up the Echo, just like you were talking about.
Yeah, Echo is one of the best champions you can pick into the Syndra. You can always chrono break back when Syndra ults you. It's also hard to get poked out of lane, since you just have so many tools to get back with the teleport as well as the ultimate if you need it. So no surprises there.
One thing I want to talk about with Apollo being the one who's going to be playing the Jhin this time around, he has a lot more games on Varus than he does on any other AD carry so far this split. Every other AD carry, he's only got 1 game on. Varus, he has 4.
Yeah.
So a little bit different for him to be going with that.
Yeah, definitely a little bit different. I think this is specifically to work with the Malzahar. One synergy in this lane is it has a lot of pre-6 kill pressure, because Malzahar support is all about stacking Voidlings on the opponent. And if you just land a Jhin root on them early in the game, that can be enough to burn summoner spells. So I think that's why they go with Jhin.
And we've seen exactly what those Voidlings can do at early levels. They just do an absolutely ridiculous amount of damage to that CC. Hopefully they can dial that in for their own sakes. As the second banning phase goes the same way the second banning phase has gone in games 1 and 2, with an absolute slaughter of top laners.
Yeah, let's get rid of the carry top laners, and let's prep an early Maokai pick here. And then we'll see if Seraph wants to try and play some niche carry, or if he just ends up succumbing to the Nautilus train. So Olaf banned, instead of just banning Maokai so it can't be first picked, I am very questionable on these EnVy bans.
I don't know about this one. This is... What? Okay, Maokai's up, but they...
What? What is going on, Captain Flowers?
Chad
Things are out of control.
What we're all feeling as Immortals says, you know what? You think you're going to troll Champion Select?
Yeah.
We're going to troll Champion
Yeah, I mean,
Select.
I've seen Nautilus picked with Maokai up, but that's only... Or no, I haven't seen Nautilus picked with Maokai up. I've seen people withstand that pick and hold to get a counter pick, to make sure the other guy can't get a counter pick later, but this is a little strange. Maokai goes unpicked. Seraph wants Poppy into it instead, potentially some more versatility with flanking. These guys are all over the place, but we're still going to get to see some good old-fashioned League of Legends.
All right, we're going to see Dardoch again on Rek'Sai. Hopefully a better performance than he had on it in game number 1. And we're going to see Lyra on that Lee Sin that he played yesterday versus P1 that had a great personal performance while the rest of the team was just nowhere to be found.
Yeah, and just pulling back a little bit, big picture on this, right? Lyra, good Lee Sin player, not a great matchup into the Rek'Sai. We're still seeing some strong pick potential from both sides into some big team fighting. But this time we're lacking the Kazakhs who can get in for those executions. In this case, it's going to have to try and be Ninja who will do the flanking. So EnVy has a lot more flanking opportunities if they want to try and get in on Pobelter and Cody Sun, because if they try and fight Immortals like front to front, like a standard team fight, I think Immortals will come out on top compositionally.
I still am just struggling to understand what EnVy's end game goal was from that very first ban. I was expecting to see something like some crazy Goodwill Hunting type thing where you ban Camille and it ends up ultimately just resulting in this champion select equation that makes sense only when you see the final line of it, but then it didn't.
Yeah, and a really interesting thing here actually is just that Olane didn't play Zyra. And Zyra went completely through this ban phase. That is a high 90% pick ban champion that completely falls through this draft. So definitely, Ole has found enough success on Morgana that it almost feels like Immortals is willing to pick that in any situation. We'll see if it plays out.
Yep, the fact that they're willing to pick that over some of the other OPs when they're not available definitely shows their faith in the champion and in Ole on the champion. But ladies and gentlemen, now we're on to Summoner's Rift for what I guarantee you is going to be the final time in this series. One of these two is walking away with the win here. Is it going to be Envy? Is it going to be Immortals? We're here to find out.
Yeah, unless we discover a new thing where both Nexi can be destroyed at the same time and we somehow end up going to game 4.
The exact same nanosecond. Both Nexus explode. All 10 players are dead.
The double ace super minion, double Nexus
kill.
kill.
The double ace super minion, double Nexus kill with 11 turrets claimed on both teams.
Yeah, that'll do it. We'll see, though. The level 1 looks pretty subdued. We would hope that Immortals delays this top lane ward if Dardoch wants to start red buff so that they could at least see the delayed invade and prevent what happened in game 1 where Dardoch died at red.
And hey, look at this. We're finally going to see a Mountain Drake this time around. First game, first Drake that is going to be showing up.
The series has everything.
It does.
What more could
it
you
does.
want?
The one thing that this series was missing was a Mountain Drake, and we finally got one. Keystone Masteries on the bottom part of your screen. Courage of the Colossus on both the Nautilus and the Rex side, but Poppy has gone with Grasp instead.
Yeah, that's actually relatively common now for Poppy when you're up against Nautilus, just because Nautilus shoves so much. You need to be able to fight back in some way, and sometimes doing Grasp not only can sustain through some of the poke, but give you a bit of kill pressure onto the Nautilus if he tries to too blatantly shove you in, whereas Courage of the Colossus is a purely defensive mastery.
Either way, both of these two starting off with that Corrupting Potion means they'll have to do a lot of damage to do anything big to each other, as Hakuo and Apollo actually decide to abuse the power of those early Voidlings very effectively. They blast cone themselves over the wall, and two-man take the enemy blue buff, no jungler required.
There we go. That's EnVy's secret sauce right there, the level 1. So that's 2 out of 3 games where they've been able to pull a quick advantage over their opponents. Dardoch will realize his blue has been taken away. It's not going to be a huge deal for Rek'Sai, but what it does prevent, and is pretty common with Rek'Sai, is for them to completely skip blue on the first jungle clear, come back on the second jungle clear and give their mid laner a 5-minute blue buff, which is a window in which you can shove really hard. They can't do that anymore.
Ninja getting some nice damage down onto Pobelter, showcasing exactly why Echo is picked into this matchup. Able to dodge around, avoid those orbs, and then jump on top of her before she can get away and really do anything to retaliate against it. And look at that fan vote. 79% of people think Immortals is walking away with a win here in number 3.
They look pretty strong in game number 2. Fan bases also have a little bit to say about whether people think they're going to win or not.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit, you know. It might be slightly skewed as Dardoch hanging around here in mid lane, looking to make some kind of a play onto Ninja. Parallel convergence down. Ninja knocked up in the air, gonna be stunned into stun. Still trying to escape, flash for flash. Dardoch wants the Prey Seeker. Orb's gonna be sidestepped. Ninja walking away.
And Ninja, while he played that impressively to escape, should not have been able to escape that gank with how he had pushed up there. Yes, he caught Dardoch in the stun, but then coming out of the Rek'Sai knockup, Pobelter missed his scatter weak stun on him, which allowed him to back away. Now Cody gets exhausted.
Cody's son exhausted, heal popped immediately. Voidling's in hot pursuit. Silence finds him, but he's in no danger of dying just yet. Lee Sin stopping Pobelter's back, eats 2 turret shots. I don't know what the plan is here, but with Dardoch hanging around, tunneling over the wall, he might be coming in to cut him off. Should not be any kill potential. Dardoch, remember, he has no flash. Lyra gets himself away, but that was pretty sloppy. Olay gonna be hit by the Flourish, eats some damage from the Voidlings. That's that combo potential you were telling me about.
Yeah, and they're gonna be pushing these guys in for a lot of this bottom lane, and it's gonna kind of be on Immortals to not get poked too much so that they don't set up really easy turret dives for a Poppy. He's really strong at turret diving early on in the game. But yeah, so a few strange plays early on in the game for sure. Lyra was probably hoping Pobelter was window shopping in the mid lane, and that could have picked them up a kill. But alas, we've yet to see first blood.
Only 4 minutes into the game, though. Compared to most games, it's pretty normal. I mean, not compared to game number 1, where First Blood was before 2 minutes, but still working with a pretty good spot. Cody, Sun, and Olay kind of hanging back right now. Apollo and Hakuo doing a good job controlling this lane, but the CS still dead even between these two. Cody's not exactly losing any ground in that respect.
Yeah, definitely not. So he's done a good job of keeping up, because that's the main thing they have to do in this lane, is just survive until they can hit level 6 and potentially turn some of that aggression around.
Seraph enjoying the same early game Nautilus trading potential that we saw last time around. Dardoch going to be stopped from having the tunnel that he was looking for. He still gets over the wall, but then he gets bonked outside of the range and can't really follow up with the knockup.
Doesn't mean they don't want to continue this one, though, but they have no eyes on Lee Sin. If they took turret aggro, it will be bad.
Dardoch's going to be slammed right back into the turret. The damage comes down. Almost going to be First Blood. There you go. 1 for 1, though. Lyra still looking to maybe make something else happen here. That is an out-of-mana flame. Flash available onto Lyra should he need it. Flashes forward. Got the
Q.
slow.
Got it.
There you go. Lyra makes it a 2 for 1.
Yeah, and just the setup for that play was absurdly risky for Immortals. It's a pre-6 turret dive with the guy not even being low or denied summoners, and they're just walking up. If they would have actually taken turret aggro and Seraph would have been a little bit more patient, it could have been disastrous. Seraph wanted to make sure he didn't get 100% to 0 though, so he just slams Dardoch back. He's able to get a knock-up and proc Courage, which delays it a little bit and actually allows Flame to get a kill back. But because Flame didn't immediately run, and both these guys still have Flash, instead of waiting until Lyra prepped his Sonic Wave, he now has no way of flashing it. Lyra can point blank it, picks up the 2nd kill.
Good stuff for Team Envy. Now up 1,000 gold, 6 minutes in. That's all we got to do in the future, is talk about how there's no First Blood yet, and sure enough, it just happens right in front of our eyes. Easy money. Spectre's Cowl picked up for the Poppy. Bommy's Cinder going to be picked up for the Nautilus. He's able to rush that Sunfire Cape more effectively since Poppy's a physical damage champion.
Yeah, so he'll be hitting that point of invulnerability pretty quick in the top lane. Not to say Seraph won't have threat in other ways. The next time his teleport is up, that is one reason people pick Poppy, is just for the playmaking potential, and Seraph has always been one who likes to make plays.
Oh yeah, normally we see this guy on carry-type champions. You see him on Jaces, on Kennons, on things like that. Fiora sometimes. But this time around, on the tank. A playmaking tank nonetheless, but still going to be fun to see. As your Scryer's Bloom is activated by Ninja, just trying to work his way into enemy territory, find out what he can find out. Only 500 gold separating these two teams means playmaking is available for anybody that wants to try to make that happen, as Lyra is going to be going in, looking to steal away the blue buff from Immortals for the 2nd time this game. Remember, they missed out on their level 1-1 thanks to some of that nice Gorgonzola cheese from Apollo and Hakuo, grabbing it away with the Voidlings and the Blast Cone, as Lyra manages to grab this one for himself, and that's going to be yet another blue denied from Pobelter.
Yeah, so that will really diminish Pobelter's ability to bully that lane with the Cinder, because he's already difficult.
Oh, that was a nice black shield. As soon as Hakuo flashed and went for the ultimate, Olay is right there. Boom! You got the shield right on top of Cody.
Yeah.
The ult is nullified.
You almost didn't even see the black shield because it was so quick that he was able to put it on and then get his shot back. And now they're going to counter it right here.
Now they got the counter attack. Apollo going to be forced to heal. The binding misses, but the arrow is down. Olay running away. Heal's going to be used. Hakuo still alive, and Lyra just gets to show up and watch his teammate die. Olay trying to get out of there. Is Ninja going to be able to make the connect? Lyra now in danger, going to be stunned up. Volley grabs the kill, and Immortals answer.
A flurry of kills right there, and it is an answer to the aggression that Envy tried to put on them, but they were ready for it. Dardoch there comes with the counter gank. Olay, we're going to watch this one more time. He's waiting for Hakuho to ping 6. Hakuho ping 6 like, wait a minute, I need that black shield. It's fractions of a second in which he's able to block it, and that's because he's paying attention to the experience bar there when he hits level 6, and then Dardoch just ults in. He's like, you know what? If they're going to stick around, this is an easy kill because I know someone who just burned Flash. Then Apollo, who still has Flash, tries to hold it, gets hit by the Ash Arrow. Hakuo's easy to finish off at the end. Ordinance can't quite finish off the kill. And then Lyra doesn't land a Sonic Wave. And by the way, Cinder's been roaming down this whole time, so he has few options to escape. Press R, then the E to basically guarantee the stun. And Cody picks up the final kill and the double buffs.
And what were we talking about in pick and ban phase? Immortals' faith in Olay on this Morgana, and that faith has just been rewarded.
Yeah, can absolutely play it against Malzahar, and there's still no flash onto Hakuo.
Looking to make a move onto this bottom lane yet again. Apollo finally going to be forced to pop that flash, getting himself away. Hakuo knocked up, but too close to the turret.
Single
Curtain
TP
call
from Echo.
opens. This could be EnVy's chance to turn this back around. Parallel convergence coming down, looking to grab some kind of a stun. Can't quite do it, and Immortals makes the clean exit.
Yeah, and it could have been a little bit dangerous. Cody's son was just waiting for his Ash Arrow to come up, so Immortals was a few seconds away from going all in on that engage. But in a good sign towards the series, they do not dive all the way in because of the risk of double TP, and they need to be cognizant of that. They are.
Always good to respect the kind of things that could end up completely turning a fight around and putting yourself in a bad scenario. Both those TPs, though, the top laner's just waiting for an opportunity to find that chance. Seraph with 84 CS, Flame with 94, just constantly shoving up as this Nautilus, making Seraph have to deal with this incessant push, always keeping him underneath his turret.
Yeah, and I feel like Seraph's going to want to go with the Bomby Cinder as soon as possible. Next back, he'll be able to do so. Just trying to get this cannon minion, not giving too much free time. It would also be great if he can save his teleport because he wants to maintain that playmaking. That's why he would pick it into this Nautilus. So it's going to be tricky. If Dardoch comes up here to pressure the turret, should hopefully force out the TP.
That Flame Shield is so big, too. He just walks up, hits Seraph underneath the turret. The turret can't even break the shield in retaliation. He's just such a big lane bully on this Nautilus. As Lyra's hanging around in the bottom side tri-brush, he's got the control ward there to make sure he's not being seen out, but he's not really finding any opportunities to do anything in the lane, so instead, he's jumping over the wall, and he's going to look to take this Drake the same way we've seen it taken so far. Pobelter going to be bursted very rapidly by Ninja, but the parallel convergence doesn't come down in time. Ninja walking himself back, taking off half of Pobelter's HP.
Yeah, so Lyra trying to seek the Drake as well, as they had a good amount of map pressure in the mid lane, so he's just able to take that pretty easily.
3 games, 3 first Drakes, all taken by the blue side jungler, jumping over the wall and doing it unseen. Very good stuff coming out from EnVy, making sure they take advantage of that situation, take advantage of their jungler's mobility to grab that free for themselves. Going to give them extra objective control as the game goes forward. And with how close these games have been so far, it might be big. Ninja's going to be forced to chrono break.
Beautiful.
Pobelter trying to find the play.
Beautiful.
Lyra's there. What the follow-up? That's what they needed.
It's exactly why you see Echo picked into Syndra, as Pobelter exposes himself by going for the all-in. It's shot back. Lyra then is arriving, so some big coordination showing from Lyra and Ninja right there to turn the kill on Pobelter.
Good synergy between the mid laner and jungler on the side of Team EnVy, but now the TP is going to be channeled. Immortals looking to make the play bottom. Hakuo popping the ulti. Olay's going to be stuck underneath the turret. The Voidlings found dinner. Hakuo in some trouble. Lyra's going to be 2. Flame making the damage happen. Soaking underneath that turret. Does not even care about the aggro. Ninja looking to move in, but Cody's already dead. Ninja tanking, having to run. Flame coming right back in. Seraph is here.
And everybody walks away.
And now it's done.
But still a bloody fight under the turret right there, because the Ash Arrow, which I think was meant to preemptively interrupt the Malzahar ultimate, flew in between them. So watch this. Cody's son just misses it. Otherwise, Hakuo wouldn't have been able to keep Olay under the turret right there, but they had the teleport coming in because both solo lanes on EnVy's side had already burned the teleport. Flame able to tank up a bunch of turret shots. They get this kill, and then Ninja a little long on his parallel convergence right there. Can't get the big shield out of it right away, so has to flash backwards. And you're thinking Dardoch was going to be trying to snipe with a Prey Seeker, but Seraph blocks it in at the end.
5-7 overall. EnVy trailing by a couple of kills. Now they're in some danger as their jungler's going to be caught out and smacked down. Dardoch with that last auto attack as Lyra tries to get himself over the wall. He's going to find his grave somewhere in that terrain between the jungle and mid lane. As Dardoch and Olay move up into enemy territory, clearing out some of those wards, seeing if there's anything to steal away.
Yeah, and this will be a question of whether or not they can get that map pressure going, with Dardoch having such a spectacular start to this game. 4-1-4, building towards that Titanic Hydra Cinderhulk route.
A lot of pressure under this bottom lane tier 1 coming out from Olay and Cody. They realize that with the enemy jungler dead, there's nothing to really be super afraid of. That turret down to below half now, as for the first time in game number 3, Pobelter's finally getting a taste of blue buff.
Yeah. It only took the 3rd blue buff of the game.
Yeah.
It's going to make things substantially easier. It's interesting how Ninja's gone for the Proto Belt first with a little bit of magic for this, so Pobelter will have a small amount of kill pressure once he hits level 11 for rank 2 of that ultimate, but still not very much. It's been a tricky time for him in this mid lane.
Always hard to utilize that ultimate when the chrono break is up. He's just going to chrono break out of most of the orbs, get himself back to safety like we saw earlier, and then you're just kind of in a spot where you can't do anything to him anymore. As the flame push continues top side, it's Sunfire Cape versus Spirit Visage. And while they're both very tanky compared to each other, Flame's item has the advantage of also shoving in all these minions.
Yeah, and it's with the Sunfire Cape, still no Bomby Cinder on Seraph, as you mentioned. It's the turret, because there just hasn't been the assistance offered in that top lane. So the matchup is playing out kind of the way it should. Credit to Flame for being able to keep the pressure on and not have the deaths that we've been seeing earlier on in the series, and it just leads to a bigger lead for Immortals.
Turret First Blood goes the way of Immortals, although it's immediately going to be answered by Envy on the other end of the map. However, the First Blood bonus, along with their kill advantage, going to lead Immortals to a 2K lead. Seraph stunned up, trying to defend 1v4. Poppy's tanky, but are you tanky enough for that? Maybe! Dardoch goes a little bit too deep. Hakuo with the save. Seraph still walks away. But Ninja has now put himself between a rock and a hard place. Going to be chrono breaking back, doesn't find much of anything. Ninja, it almost was great.
Yeah.
It almost was great. Seraph got away, and then Ninja said, nope, they came for a kill. They're going to get one.
Really crazy, and all the while, Apollo was just slowly hitting this turret down, so Nevi actually doesn't lose all that much aside from Ninja flying in at the end. You thought for sure Seraph was going down against 4 people right there, and maybe getting flashbacks to yesterday where Rek'Sai killed him within his base. But this time he had team with him.
I don't think I can handle another one like that.
He had the team with him, and Hakuho was able to support by ulting Dardoch and preventing him from continuing his assault. Still, a small lead for Immortals and some chaos right there.
What a bunch of craziness in the top part of the map. Here's another look at exactly how it went down.
Yeah, so arrow lands, Dardoch gets the knock up, and you think he's dead for sure. But because Dardoch had positioned behind him, it allowed Seraph a spot to heroic charge to clear distance away. I feel like if Dardoch actually stays in front in that situation, he would have been able to finish it off. And then Ninja just really goes in when he had no business going in. They had no Jhin in that situation. He was not going to be able to pick up a kill. He kind of gifts one over.
Yeah, Ninja pays the price for that. No way to really escape that chrono break, parallel convergence. Nothing in the kit's going to get you out of the 1v4. They even had the exhaust ready for him just to make sure he couldn't grab that last little bit of damage on the Dardoch, as the bottom lane tier 1 is going to be falling, and Immortals will tie up that turret count 2-2.
Yeah, and now the mid lane is kind of the next battleground because both these turrets are pretty low. So whoever can get a little bit of a wave advantage or even just poke someone out can open up the map in a big way.
Both turrets easily pushable if you can find some kind of a pick, some kind of a play. But Immortals are actually looking towards Cloud Drake instead. They're going to tie that dragon count up.
But everyone's up top.
Looking to make the play onto Flame. Tries to go for the kick, flashes for it, but still doesn't make it happen. Flame's flash keeping him safe. And so all the effort is invested for nothing.
And it also opens up the mid lane. The battleground should have been mid lane turret and Drake. Instead, they go for a kill onto the super tank top, don't get it because Flame flashed away, and they cede over several advantages to Immortals.
And that's some of that decision-making that we've been talking about that's been a hot topic between both these teams this entire series. Who's going to manage to fix that? Who's going to make sure that they're not committing those mistakes? And right now, the answer is not Envy.
Yeah, definitely not. A lot of it has just been on the back of Dardoch. After Dardoch had that really poor game 1, he's been really good in games 2 and 3. This has been his best game of the series, even though it may not be as flashy since he's not getting to play Kha'Zix. He is controlling the map, he's getting them the vision they need to make plays, and he's making them.
5-1 and 4 on the Rek'Sai, 100% kill participation for himself with Cinder Hulk, Titanic Hydra, and Mercury Treads all completed. The man is a force to be reckoned with in these upcoming fights. You really got to respect everything that he has done and everything that he can still do if you're Envy. Dardoch moving around in the enemy jungle, stealing away any resources he can find with Olay and Pobelter next to him. They're setting down the vision. They're pushing up further. With this outer ring of turrets completely disabled, they're moving up forward and slowly creeping their control of the map more and more into Envy territory.
Yeah, and we mentioned in Champ Select, the front-to-front team fights are in favor of Immortals, but the flanks could be in favor of Envy. Here they come.
Ninja grabbing the parallel convergence. Not going to find Pobelter. A good flash keeps him safe. Now Ninja finds himself isolated between the enemy team and the rest of his allies.
He might get Pobelter!
Pobelter. Chrono break right back into the fight. Pobelter taken low. Ninja still alive. Cody's son's gonna be killed next. Dardoch and Olay trying to get themselves back. Lyra's in good shape. Everybody except for Ninja is. Flame walking himself out. He's got the black shield. So incredibly tanky. EnVy's able to find 2 for nothing so far. Still looking for Flame. Still having such a hard time getting him. Seraph receiving the safeguard as the tier 1 turret is going to be the target. Envy at least finds some good success here.
And both of Immortals' primary damage dealers were killed after Ninja's eventual TP flows through. So there was no real way for Immortals to stop that turret from falling afterwards. And that's the type of play that Envy need to make. It's why they have the double TP. It is their journey throughout this game. And Ninja didn't get a kill directly, but he made that play happen.
Right, that was all Ninja's setup. He put Pobelter and Cody's son in spots where they got themselves deleted by the rest of Team Envy. As now Dardoch finds himself in enemy territory, gonna be slammed up into that wall. Deadly Flourish comes through as well. Olay's there to try to provide a little bit of help and an escape. Dardoch's not gonna be brought down that easily, but Jat, 20.5 minutes into this game, we are still looking only at a 2,000 gold difference. It's there, it's noticeable. But it's not so big that we're saying, oh yeah, this is an Immortals game. This could still go either way.
Yeah, absolutely right there. And you do also have to note that when you're in these situations of having the flankers like this, the gold leads are a little bit less important because the 1-3-1 stretches out the game. It's all about kind of how you play the map and how you actually execute the plays.
Items starting to come online as well. A lot of big stuff available for both teams. We talked about the Proto Belt and the Echo already, the Spirit Visage and the Sunfire Cape for the top laners. Well, Flame CS advantage, he's now got both of those items under his belt. Morello Namacon done on Pobelter means he's going to be stopping some of that healing that could be coming out, as well as just getting all that useful stat power that the item has. Runan's Hurricane also done for Cody's son, working on some of those big ticket damage items next. Means Focus Fire can be poured into multiple targets at a time in these upcoming team fights.
Yeah, and Envy is tanking up fairly well when you think about it, which is what's kind of forcing Pobelter into that Void Staff early that you mentioned, because you're used to seeing the Ludens come out second from the Syndra, but he's really not trucking through everyone.
Wants to have that magic penetration to better deal with Seraph, to better deal with... Lyra's got a Hex Drinker as well as a Mercury Tread, so he's not exactly without magic resistance either. It's not a huge amount, but it's still noticeable. So Pobelter just wants to make sure that whenever he's hitting any of these guys, the damage is going to be noticeable, it's going to be real. Drake will be live in about 80 seconds from now. It'll be number 3. Probably going to get about 4 of them. Could maybe get 5 of them this game. No, wait. No, I don't think we can. Never mind.
I think the max theoretically is 6.
Yeah, but you have to get the first one literally as it spawns to get 6.
Pretty much either way, we're going to see, I'm hoping, a fairly explosive end to this series. Both teams have cleaned up a little bit of their play as the series has progressed. Like, we also have to remember the journey these teams have taken. Olay just made it in to Immortals right before week 1, and Lyra just made it in right before week 2. So we shouldn't be making super long-term judgments on these teams based on how they look in some of their more mistake-ridden games, because there's still so much league still to play, and it's all about who can gel faster.
Right, we're on week 2. This isn't the end-all, be-all. This isn't, if you don't show up this week, you're not going to playoffs, or you're going to get relegated or whatever. There's a lot of time left to still look at what these teams can bring to the table. They still obviously have a lot of practice, a lot of synergy to build between themselves and the other members of their team. As Pobelter and Olay and Dardoch, all of the Immortals, grouping up here in mid lane, looking to make something happen. Curtain Call opens up, though. Pobelter going to be hit by 2 different bullets. However, the Black Shield prevents the slow from coming through. 3 different shots, one of which was the big one, hit Pobelter, but for no real result. The power of that Morgana showing up again.
Yeah, and I really do feel like because of Morgana, the only way Envy's going to find team fights is if they're willing to use teleport on either the Poppy or the Echo, and that's actually going to require Immortals to push up a little bit, or the 1-3-1 pressure to accrue in the side lanes for Envy. So right here, again, they opened up with a current call, and in the time they spent to try and go get pressure in the side wave, the Drake does go over to Immortals.
Drake going over to Immortals. That's Ocean Drake number 1 for them. Should be able to give them a nice little bit of extra sustain for themselves. And of course, we've been seeing these games go to the point of Elder Drakes, so could also enchant that burn a little bit better. As Flame going in onto Ninja after losing that tier 1 turret in the top side. That's going to be Envy taking the turret advantage up 4-3 for themselves, shrinking that gold difference down to about 1,000. So even less noticeable than it was before, as each team seems so very cautious about pulling the trigger on any sort of an opportunity. They both know this is the game that matters. Any big mistake could essentially just send you straight to a loss.
Exactly, and when we look at the gold as well, the 1,000 gold lead is pretty much held exclusively by Dardoch because the solo lanes are kind of swapping 1,000 gold leads on each other. So it's his advantage that needs to be taken advantage of because Rek'Sai is a champion that has pretty substantial late game fall off. So the fact that he has the majority of the gold here doesn't actually lead to that big of a lead coming into the 30 or 40 minute mark. And let's see if they can catch up Cody's son here.
Ninja looking for Cody's son. Hakuo with the flash into the ulti. Great setup. Taking out that enemy AD carry should open up some kind of a door for Envy to make another play.
No, absolutely, because that's a play they were able to set up without using a teleport, and they might get another one.
Nice shot, but Lyra ends up kicking him away to safety. Ugh!
Yeah, he was going for the flash kick. Pobelter also flashed, so he ended up kicking him backwards in a weird re-engage by Pobelter because it's 4v5.
Oh, he's gonna be knocked up into the air. The keeper's verdict coming down. Pobelter getting himself deleted. Flame running away now. Dardoch's gonna be 2. Both damage dealers again, chat. The 2 guys that are down.
Yeah, and that is who Envy should be targeting. They get another kill there when they teleport in, and this could be a pretty risky Baron because Cody's son is coming up, and unlike past games, they don't have incredible Baron damage, pretty much just the Voidlings that would help to push him over the top.
Hakuo doing a good job with those Voidlings, blocking some of the stuns coming out from Olay, but now the fight's coming out. Flame and Dardoch looking to lock down Apollo if they can. He is done. They're still running all over these guys. They're so tanky. Hakuo is going to be next. A double kill for Dardoch. Health bars blinking red all over the place for Envy. A double kill for Ninja. Takes out Cody and Olay. Now he's got to get himself out. It's a 3 for 2.
Oh man, what a disaster for Envy right there. I think they were hoping that they could kind of win a fight as Immortal piles in, but they really underestimated the raw power of the tanks on Immortals right now because they just walked right through Envy. And just to make things worse, Ninja had already jumped over the Baron pit, so he couldn't even help damage the tanks, and Dardoch and Flame just ran over Envy.
Apollo was definitely having a case of the AD carry in 2017 feels in this fight. Take a look at exactly what happened.
Well, they also put a black shield on Dardoch as he was flying in, so there was nothing Envy could do to stop him. So kind of an ill-advised Baron. Meanwhile, though, Ninja was over on the backside, and he gets a double kill. So he had jumped over, he kills the squishies, but it means there was literally no damage to hurt the tanks with. So they end up trading kind of kills, and no one gets Baron.
It's a good thing for Team Envy's sake that Ninja did grab those 2, though. Kind of prevented their opponents from being able to mount any sort of a meaningful counterattack by removing Cody yet again. 1, 4, and 5 on this Ashe. Both AD carries dying a lot more than they would like to this time around. Dardoch still with 100% kill participation. Now with a dead man's plate, too. It's going to be that much easier to position for those knockups.
Yeah, and so much of this game, as we've been talking about the flanks, is now kind of just about Ninja. It's really hard to teamfight late game on an Echo because you make one mistake and it's basically over. He has no cleanse, no QSS, there's no McHale's. So if he gets hit by a Binding, an Ash Arrow, even a Nautilus or Cinder, literally anyone on that Immortals team can hit him with a potentially fatal CC. But if he gets in and can one-shot Pobelter or Cody's son, he can kind of win the fight and potentially the game for Envy. So really keep your eyes on Ninja in upcoming fights.
That would be the play for Envy right now. Looking to utilize the power of Azonia's Hourglass, Lich Bane, and Protobelt Echo. But can they find that positioning? Envy down 1,500 gold, 28 minutes in. Life is pretty hard, but not to the point where they're feeling defeated just yet. 3 turrets to 4 still, very even in that respect. 1 Drake to 2, very even in that respect. Everything is just walking along a wire right now, and they could fall either side.
Really is the tensest and closest of the 3-game series. It's the way you want these things to be. If they trade games, you always want the third one to be the best. And
yeah, you always want the third one to be the close game. You don't want to have a close game 1, and then you just have a stomp in the other ones, right? It's not good for the excitement levels, man.
Yeah, and there's no magic resist being built by Cody Sun or Pobelta, which only increases the chances. There it is on a tank. Let's see Immortals try and go if they can't.
That was really cool too. Hakuo spawned those Voidlings right between Seraph and Olay, so the follow-up binding just hit the Voidlings.
Yep, and the Voidling can block skill shots even before it looks like it's there because it spawns instantly when Hakuo plus his W. So he really just stuffs that engage, and it gave Ninja more time to accrue that CS advantage in the top lane.
Hakuo's done that a couple of different times this game, blocking those skill shots with the little void critters there. He did it in the Baron pit as well when Olay was trying to fire a binding into that. So he's definitely got that mechanic for some more Malzahar down pat. Cody Sun just farming up here in the top lane, looking to get more of those items under his belt. The amount of deaths he has so far and the fact that his CS is kind of low compared to a lot of other people in the match. He's only got Infinity Edge ruining as his Ninja's going to be exhausted. Olay and Dardoch looking to find the catch onto this guy here as Olay has to be careful for his own safety. Ninja trying to get himself away, going to be using the Time Winder and the Chrono Break, looking to make it a 1-for-1. The Zhonya's Hourglass keeping him safe for an extra second, but the binding finds its mark and he is shut down.
Yeah, and really not much happening on the rest of the map for EnVyus, so that's what you don't want to happen in those situations. One Ocean Drake helps a bit, but now Ninja's down for 45 seconds, and here comes Immortals for Baron, trying to force a fight.
Immortals know that Ninja is out of this for 35 seconds. TP is going to be used by Flame. They're getting everybody there, everybody in position. They want to burn this down if they can.
They're going to try and turn for a fight.
May be vulnerable. Pobelter evading from the Sonic Wave. Apollo's going to be killed first. Apocalypse is number 2. Lyra's bound up. Another one should be taken down here. Keeper's Verdict trying to disengage the collapse from Immortals. But Envy is not in a spot to do anything any longer.
Definitely not yet. They still have a potential to steal with the Lee Sin, and they're trying to stall because Ninja could theoretically teleport in, and Immortals used a fair number of cooldowns, but still have the Cinder ultimate. Here comes Seraph.
Seraph into the pits, trying to slam Cody back into the wall, but Baron is going to be secured. Ninja's in, trying to clean these guys up. Seraph's going to be bursted. Ninja 2, damage coming out. Flash is used. Chrono Break right back into the pit. Seraph is down. Lyra avoiding a dredge line. Ninja still trying to take down Pobelter if he can. The Time Winder not quite going to find it just yet. A double kill for Cody Sun. Ninja grabs 1 on the back end of the fight, but they've lost 2 and a Baron for it.
And just like that, Immortals opens up a 6,000 gold lead. Watching it one more time, it is a clear, decisive call by Immortals to go for the backline. They do not try and kill Baron. They immediately go for the fight. They get the backline right away, and then force flashes and ultimates out of Envy, and then turn right back to Baron. They understand the threat. They understand that they're not able to kill this very quickly, but they keep zoning. And this is where it gets really tricky because they know Seraph is going to try and fly in, and they don't want to let Lee Sin come in behind him for a steal. Not to mention, they need to be tracking the death time of Echo. So much to think about, and this is where communication needs to be key. Echo doesn't teleport inside the Baron pit because there's no wards, and that delays long enough for Mortal to just easily get the Baron. Lyra was off around the side, could never get in for a steal, and they focus enough CC onto Ninja that he can't get off the right combos. Unfortunately, Pobelter does lose the duel to him later, but it's still a huge net win for Immortals.
Now as Immortals are pushing up in the bot lane, you can see the curtain call opened up by Apollo, just trying to buy some time, clear out some waves, scare these guys off, but it's not going to scare them off for long. As you mentioned, almost a 6,000 gold lead now for Immortals with the whole team baroned up. They're ready to go, ready to make something happen here. Well, the whole team except for one. We did see Pobelter actually drop to Ninja, so he shouldn't have the buff for himself, but these guys are still in a great spot to utilize this Baron, find a big power play from it, and push a greater edge.
Yeah, I really agree, and Dardoch continuing with that 100% kill participation and is making clear calls that the team is following up on. And even though this lead is opened up, it's still going to be the same story for us. Ninja and Seraph want to be able to flank behind, and currently they don't have any teleports. So this is really, really the time for Immortals to try and make their big lead. They even have a QSS on Cody Sun now to potentially save him a little bit if Ninja does somehow get behind him. And here comes Immortals.
Immortals with the 4-1 split push, all baroned up, all ready to go. Flame in the bottom part of the map. TP not available should the rest of the team get into trouble. That's why you're seeing them back away there from the mid lane. Don't want to find themselves in a 4v5. They got to realize how far ahead they are right now, how comfortable of a position they're in. They don't want to throw that away for nothing. Lyra, no flash to try to make some kind of a big fancy insect play here. Prey Seeker's going to be fired off. Olay coming in from the side, looking for a binding. Hits Hakuo, but the Malzahar passage just nullifies it. Tier 2 falls in the mid lane. It's going to be falling in the bottom lane in just a moment as Immortals all rotate down. Seraph's going to get himself out before the trouble comes after him. And now it's up to Immortals to try to break this base.
Yep, taking the low-hanging fruit with this Baron to start. But they need to realize the position of power where the double TP is down. So the threat of a counter engage by Envy with just a standard siege for Immortals is very low. That's why they're just going all around, making sure they're getting 3 turrets out of this and trying to grow that lead as much as possible.
Rotating up now to the top side. The Tier 2 is going to be pretty much free. I don't really see Envy looking to make any kind of a stance here, defend this one too zealously. Ninja doing what he can, trying to stop this, but a Proto Belt, yeah, you can clear away some of the minions, you can try to make the defense, but Immortals is not going to stop coming anytime soon. Except they are. They're going to back away.
Yeah, the Baron buff expired, and I suppose they didn't want to sit around while Echo clears the wave. So you can do that with pretty much just 1 Q at this point in the game. Elder Drake up in 1 minute, though, so they want to make sure they have the proper setup for that.
Yep, that's why I'm not on one of these teams, Jet. Not tracking those timers properly. The Baron expires, the Elder Drake's going to be coming up. It's time to get back to the base, prepare for the next big objective. 2 Drakes on both teams mean the true damage burn is going to be 135 no matter who gets it. So still a very effective burn. Nothing completely nuts like you would see if you had 4 Drakes. But if Immortals can find this, it could just be what punches their ticket.
Exactly, because they're already stronger in straight-up team fights, and it's also pretty important that they prevent it from going over to Envy because they don't want to amplify that damage of flanks. Like, if we are to see, like, what does a winning fight look like for either team? A winning fight for Envy looks like when they can kill Pobelter or Cody Sun before anyone else. A winning fight for Immortals is when they can just plow through whoever and move forward in it. It's really all about protecting their damage dealers so they can do what they are meant to do.
Look at how tanky Dardoch is with that black shield on him. He's got so much health, so much resistances. What is that, close to 5,000 HP now?
4,800. He's also powered up with that Iron Elixir because he knows this is the deciding moment of the game. Increases his size, makes him Nautilus size, apparently.
Yeah, he makes Nautilus look a little bit tiny.
Flame Man, build your Elixir too. It's decisive moment.
Might as well. This could determine the entire thing right here, right now. 36 minutes in, Elder Drake gets the call. Immortal is going to be jumping on it immediately. Lyra trying to find a chance to make the steal happen. Curtain call opens up. Drake down to 2K. Who's going to end up taking it? Answer is Dardoch. Olay into the fight. Health bar is going to be evaporating pretty rapidly. Whoever's going to be hit with the damage. Ninja first. Seraph trying to walk himself out. Lyra back into the back line looking for Olay. A double kill for Pobelter. 4 dead for Envy. A double kill for Cody Sun. Ladies and gentlemen, that should be it. An awesome fight from Immortals.
Immortals absolutely demolished Envy in that fight, and we talked about what good looks like, and it's the damage dealers staying safe. Envy could never get in to that fight, and Immortals was just able to go front to back as far as their target selection in that fight. Now everyone done on Envy looks like they're gonna push for the series win.
They've got the minion wave with them. They've got the Elder Drake blessing enchantment buff, whatever you want to call it. I call it a one-way path to the winner's circle as they are pushing onto the Nexus turrets. TP's gonna be channeled, so they've got the whole team here for the celebration. The turrets are done, the series is over, and Immortals will take the win.
And they're not gonna be super enthused after that one because they would have loved to play cleaner in game 1 and close out Envy a little bit faster. But they should take credit in the fact that they improved steadily throughout the series. Dardoch, in particular, 8-1-12 on that Rek'Sai in this last game. Super dominant. And they keep Envy winless.
That's player of the game material. If that's not, I don't know what is.
Well, we get to decide it, so
I vote for Dardoch.
I think that's going to be it for the player of the game.
I mean, he had 100% kill participation. He was part of everything they did up until the very end. Now he has 20 out of 22.
Yeah.
I would still take that any day of the week. 91% kill participation or something like that. It's pretty much phenomenal. And you just saw him constantly doing what he needed to do, being such this massive brick that the enemy team could not deal with at all.
Yeah, and we talked so much about how they needed to take more efficient shots in their games and eliminate the mistakes. And as the series progressed, that's kind of exactly what they did. And specifically in this last game, Envy picked a team composition that was completely predicated around catching people out of position and hoping Immortals would be spread out. So the fact that Immortals was able to stay together enough and team fight cohesively enough is a credit to their improvement throughout the series.
And the team who improves the most, the team who knows how to adapt, the team that can actually change up their game plan and respond to what their opponents is doing, that's generally the team that's going to have a nice edge.
Yeah, it's nice. That's a lot of the ways how League of Legends works. And even though Pobelter had a pretty rough final game into that Echo, multiple blue buffs being stolen away from him, the main target of all the flanks, still 2, 4, and 5, not the end of the world, and it was the tank line that just absolutely demolished for Immortals. And maybe we're going to end up having to see more of that as kind of the season progresses, because Flame and Dardoch, I think when you're architecting that team, is meant to be like, we're going to be a top-side team. Dardoch and Flame are the big talent pieces.
They're huge.
It's what definitely worked for them at the end of this series.
And I mean, who could forget the fight that they had where EnVy's going for the Baron, and then those two just walk in and say, no, you're not. And just jump in there.
Very slowly. And that's the thing that happens, right? There was definitely some bad calls by EnVy there at the Baron when they threw their damage dealer over the wall as the tanks just kind of waddle in and kill everyone they care about. So overall, a very entertaining series. Not the cleanest play, but we talked about it before. These guys just coming together as teams, haven't had a huge amount of practice time, and have plenty of season left to gel.
And fans from both teams are going to be hoping to see that as we move forward into week 3, into week 4, and the rest of the spring split, is now that they've got time, now that they're not worrying about players being there, now that they can actually sort of build themselves a practice schedule, something reliable to work with, what are they going to look like when we are expecting them to be in top form?
Yeah, exactly. Because you're looking at a team like Immortals, and you were so used to them just being the first place team in the regular season, super dominating. They were 17-1 in spring, 16-2 in summer. Total rebuild, it hasn't looked good. They should actually feel somewhat content about 2-2 because their quality of play may not have merited that. They have plenty of work to do.
Well, for now, we're going to hear from IMT's mid laner who joins Kobe on